Hello, FranServe community. This is Michelle Goitandia from FranServe, and I want to thank you all for joining us today. Tenet Financial has been such a great partner with FranServe, and when Diane had approached us to present this webinar to our entire community based on the time sensitivity of this, we were thrilled to have them do this. So without further ado, I want to introduce Derek Skogsberg, who is the CEO of Tenet Financial, and Diane Rosenkrantz will also be presenting. There will be a Q&A at the end, so if you have any questions as we're going through the presentation, feel free to type them in. So Derek, I will pass you the baton and I will mute my phone. Thank you.
Wonderful, Michelle. Thank you, everybody, for joining. As Michelle mentioned here at the outset, this is time sensitive. This disaster assistance program prior to last Friday was really localized to specific geographies, specific states as this coronavirus started to break out. Last Friday, it went nationwide. And so on Monday of this week, we were able to start helping people submit their loan applications. And this money's available until it's gone. And so it's time sensitive in that nature that we get this information in front of you. I'm going to walk through the application process relatively quickly because this is being recorded and it's something you're going to be able to reference ongoing. So I'll walk through it pretty quickly, and then we'll make sure that we've got enough time here at the end to answer any questions. Okay? Okay. First of all, I want you all to know that we do appreciate you guys. It's been a good relationship for us, as I hope it's been for you. Whoops, lost my screen here. There we go. There it goes. We hope it's been a good relationship for you guys as well. I think as time has gone on, we've been able to do a number of deals and work well together. For those of you that don't know me, I started a company called Fran Fund that I divested myself of back in 2008 and immediately started Tenet Financial Group. I've been in this business a long time. I've seen the ups and downs of this industry. We all lived through the 2000s together. We lived through the crash of 08 together. So I've been in this business a long time, and I want to use some of that knowledge and expertise to kind of parlay this loan program to you guys and help you guys as small business owners attain these dollars that are available. We've always been Tenet Financial Group well positioned to operate at a high degree of efficiency in a virtual environment. Tenet Financial Group has employees in 11 different states. Okay, we've got a virtual organization with operations in 4 of those states. So we're kind of set up and built for this odd, weird epidemic that we're all going through. It's business as usual for us. I know we're all working from home or an executive suite. That's a normal day for us. So that nothing has really changed. We're fully operational and functional at a very high capacity even today. But with further ado, let's just move on here and get into this economic injury disaster loan. Okay, as I said before, businesses in all states are eligible. Okay, these loans can be used to pay fixed debts, payroll, accounts payable, and other bills that can't be paid because of the disaster's impact. Now, what's appealing about this is these interest rates are at 3.75%. And recognize any of your clients, any of your franchisee small business owners that you put into business, if they were to come to us and get an SBA loan, they would pay something around a 6% interest rate over a 10-year term. This loan is 3.75 over 30. So it's the most cash flow friendly loan that's really available. Okay, and that's its intent. Okay, it's a straightforward, comprehensive loan application. There's multiple forms to complete, and I'm going to walk you through them again, kind of in haste, somewhat, so that we've got time for Q&A at the end. You can complete the application on the SBA's website, which I'll give you here in a second, just by simply downloading, filling them in, saving them, and then dragging and dropping them right back into the SBA's website. Okay. If you don't have that drag and drop feature or capability, you're certainly welcome to print them all off, fill them out, and mail them in, actually right here to Fort Worth, which is where we're at. Okay. But to expedite it, you probably want to drag and drop. Okay. Okay, so there's the link. Okay, it's right here at the top. You'll click on that link and download the business forms from the links in blue under the Download Business Forms section. Okay, you'll see it right here if I can highlight it. I don't know if I can. No, I couldn't. How do I go back? Hang on, I'm going to back up. Okay, here we go. It's right here at the bottom. Download business forms. Now, the business form application, Form 5, is for businesses. That's for if you're an LLC or a corporation or a subchapter S corporation, you would fill out number 1. And if you're a sole proprietor, you're going to fill out form number 2, which is Form 5C. Okay? So you're either going to do 1 or 2, and then everybody is going to fill out number 3. Okay? Either 1 or 2, and then everybody fills out number 3. Okay, so I'll walk through those. Okay, the first one will be for the sole proprietor. So if you're just an individual business operating as a sole proprietor, this will be how you'll apply. Okay, the first thing you're going to fill out is Form 5C. Okay, the top portion is filled out by the SBA, not you. Okay, this has nothing to do with you. Okay, you want to choose sole proprietor over here, economic injury, as to what you're applying for. And the rest is very straightforward. Just name, social security number, address, stuff like that. Okay? All right. The disaster and home sole proprietor loan application, Form 5C, has instructions, of course. And if you need to contact the SBA, if you've got a need, here's the number, 800-659-2955. Okay. And then the filing requirement, the only other filing requirement for a sole proprietor will be the 4506T. Okay. That's a request for tax transcripts, and I'll walk you through it. Okay. This is what a 4506T does. Okay. This is the form that authorizes the IRS to provide federal income tax information directly to the SBA. I highlighted it in red. Okay, so as part of your loan application, you're going to submit your income taxes. Okay, the 4506T is how the SBA verifies that what you sent them is the same thing that you sent to the IRS. Okay, here's what that 4506T actually looks like. Again, very straightforward, just name and address and social, very, very simple stuff. Okay. But that's the actual form itself. And it's the same form that your clients or any of our borrowers would fill out as well. Okay, here's the economic injury disaster loan supporting information. Everybody's going to fill this one out. This was number 3 on that list. Again, very straightforward. It asks for gross revenues, cost of goods sold. It's kind of a P&L, if you will, but very straightforward, very simple. Okay. And that's it. So if you're a sole proprietor, that's it. It's Form 5C. It's the form we just went through along with the 4506T. Okay. Three items. Okay. The business application. Now, if you're in a business, if you're a C Corp, an S Corp, an LLC, something like that, this is the quote-unquote package of documents that you'll have to send in. You're going to have to start with the Form 5. And remember, the top portion of this is filled out by the SBA, not by you. Okay, under number 1, you want to make sure that you choose economic injury. Okay, and then select your organization type, whether you're a corporation, a limited liability company, and even if you're a C Corp or an S Corp, it doesn't matter. You click corporation. Okay. Same thing here. If you need help, you can go to the SBA. You can call them with questions, 1-800-659-2955, because these business loan applications go to the SBA. They don't come to us. Okay. So that's why I wanted to walk you through this, is so that you guys can have this information and work directly with the SBA as efficiently as possible and get these applications submitted in a timely format. Okay. Additional forms are now necessary on the businesses to complete the package. Okay. Let's walk through them. So we've got to have this application, Form 5, has got to be completed, the one we just went through, along with the 4506T that you just saw. I'll show it to you here again. Here's the big one. Complete copies, including all schedules of the most recent federal income tax returns for the applicant business. So for your LLC, if you're a partnership, it'll be a 1065. If you're an S corporation, it'll be an 1120S. If you're a corporation, a C corporation, it'll just be an 1120. But your most recent one, it might be likely that you don't have your 2019s done yet. If that's the case, then submit your 2018s. Okay. Okay. Along with your personal financial statement, I'll walk you through that one, the Form 413, and then the schedule of your business liabilities. Okay. The 2202. So I'll walk you through all of these. We just went through the Form 5. Here's the 4506T again. Same thing. This form authorizes the IRS to provide federal income tax information directly to the SBA. Again, that's what it looks like. Very simple. Here's the Form 413. Okay. This is the document that you'll need to fill out that lists the assets and liabilities. Okay. So all your normal name, phone number, residence address, city, state, zip, all that stuff at the top, along with the assets and liabilities. Okay. Here's what the list of liabilities looks like, the Form 2202. There's 8 things on here. Okay, and I'll show it to you next. But the name of a creditor. So if you've got a business credit card, a Visa, and an American Express, something like that, you'll list that. Okay, maybe you've got a vehicle you run through the business. You'll list that. The original amount that was due, the original due date, along with the current balance. Whether or not you're current or delinquent, the maturity date of that note, the payment amount, the monthly payment amount, and how the debt is secured. So if you've got a corporate credit card, for instance, it's personally secured. Okay. If you've got a company vehicle, for instance, that's going to be secured with the title on the vehicle. Okay. Here's the actual form itself, the 2202. Okay. Again, very simple. The name of the creditor, the original amount, the original date, the current balance, whether it's delinquent or not, maturity, payment amount, and how it's secured. Okay. Make sure you sign it, and your title is CEO or president of your business. Okay. Again, the P019, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Supporting Information Form. Again, it's almost like a P&L, your gross revenues, cost of goods sold for the business, not for you individually, but for the business. Okay. Very simple. Signature and date. Okay. All right. With that, that's how you apply, whether you are either a sole proprietor or a business. Okay. So those are the steps. I wanted to walk through them pretty quickly because this is recorded and you can reference it later. The biggest piece of, I think, this presentation really should be, geared towards questions. There's other things that are happening in the market. You're seeing, this CARES Act that's going to be hopefully passed the House today. And we've got other funding options as well. So one of the other things that we can do is help people that have additional funding needs outside of this loan. If you've got 401ks, for instance, and you want to use those to fund your existing enterprise, you can. There's ways that we can help you do that. And a rollover could entail converting your existing entity to a C Corp if that was the case. Okay. So we want to make you aware of the fact that retirement plan dollars can still be used whether you're an existing business or not. You don't necessarily have to be a startup. Okay. So that's really it in a nutshell. I think both Kelly and Diane are pretty well known here. They've been with us, Kelly almost now 9 years, Diane I think even more than that. So very tenured, very capable, very willing to help. But again, these loans go directly to the SBA. You've got the process. I think it's fairly well detailed here. But for all of us that are living through this crisis that we are, I found this loan to be pretty darn helpful, and I think that it can really help bridge the gap to between now where we're at and hopefully where we're going real soon with a rebound in the economy. So with that, Diane, do we have questions that we need answered?
Yep, there's a few questions that came in. I want to make sure that you can hear me, Derek.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so the first question came in indicating, will these loans be forgivable if they were to use it for employees, et cetera?
Great question. Okay, I mentioned the CARES Act. Okay, that's going through the House of Representatives right now. It's a little bit of a struggle getting through, but it sounds like it'll pass eventually. The CARES Act is a $2 trillion stimulus package. There's $350 billion within there for small business. Okay, that portion is cash flow assistance. It's a program that gives employers federally guaranteed forgivable loans if their employees are kept on payroll through this crisis. It sounds like the term of the crisis is going to be 8 weeks, 2 months. And what you would do is you would apply for that through your local bank once the legislation passes and the president signs it. I think that's forthcoming here soon. But that is separate and apart from this particular economic injury disaster loan. Okay, but when that comes through, that also will be available. And if it applies to you, you should apply for that one, I think, as well. That one is forgivable. If you keep your employees on over that 8-week term, then that loan is forgiven at the end of that 8 weeks. Okay.
Perfect. Another individual had reached out indicating that they had recently purchased a business and they had not yet filed any taxes. So the question came up, would they need to fill out the 4506T? And then would a business that is less than 1 year in existence be eligible?
Yeah, the key to that is the way that it reads on the SBA's website is it says expedited funding for those greater than 1 year. Okay, so if you drag and drop your documents into the SBA's website and you've been in business longer than 1 year, your application will be expedited. Okay, it won't be expedited if you're less than 1 year. Okay, as far as the 4506T goes, no. If you don't have taxes that have been filed on the business, then there is no 4506T. There's no tax transcript to attain.
Okay, terrific. And then something that was alluded to before regarding the complete package itself. Someone had made the recommendation that an individual would want to submit all of the documents. And again, there were just a few when it was a sole proprietor. There were additional documents that are needed if it's an LLC, S Corp, or C Corp, but the entire package should be submitted all at once. And then the individual had given a point that they are very, very busy within the SBA right now as everything is funneled through them. So the individual's recommendation was to, number one, apply in the evening between 7 at night and 7 in the morning. And their other recommendation was that the SBA, which you must be doing this with directly, is going to be reaching back to you with any questions, and that they could be reaching out to you at absolutely any time of the day or the night. And so therefore, once you've submitted this, be ready to, answer their questions that could be coming at absolutely any day, any time of day or night.
Yes, that's exactly right. I use an iPhone and I silence all of the calls that come in. They go directly to my voicemail if it's not a recognized number. If you have that feature turned on your phone, you might want to shut that off because of exactly what Diane said. Those calls can come in really 24/7, and when they do, you really want your phone to ring. You want to be able to answer the questions that they might have when they do call. So I agree, Diane. I know that it's busy. Again, there is no better, cheaper money out there, period, than you can get through the SBA right now. 30-year terms at 3.75. So this is as good as it gets, and because of that, because of the nature of the crisis we're all living through, it's going to be busy. And so I guess yes, be prepared and work on the off-peak hours if in fact you can.
Okay. Another individual reached out indicating that they just acquired a business in February and they don't have any past tax filings. Are they able to proceed?
They're able to proceed, but remember, it's not going to be an expedited loan process. Likely you're going to get some questions. So your phone's going to ring, and you're going to have additional questions come in from the SBA as it relates to your business. So just plan for that. Know that if you're less than a year, there's going to be additional questions more than likely.
Okay, excellent. Another individual wanted to know if their client can claim their IRS debt as a liability and use these earmarked disaster funds.
I think I would list that debt on the Form 413, submit it as such, and if there are questions about it, they'll believe me, the SBA will definitely ask you about it. And whether or not it's eligible is not really it's not my credit decision. Listed as a liability, I would think it might be, but I can't say for sure.
Okay. Another question regarding the recorded version. So this is recorded on the FranServe site, and so therefore, shortly after the session, Michelle will be able to be putting that up, and so that would be how anyone could access the information that is reviewed today. Okay. And then another individual had asked regarding information relating to franchisors. Now, if you're relating to the franchisor trying to go through the SBA documents for themselves, that's one topic. But if as a franchisor you're regarding your existing franchisees, from that, they directly would need to follow these particular links, as these loans can only be done directly with the SBA, not from any local lenders or local banks, and not from any funding resources. So
that's right.
If you wanted to tap back in, Sean, and if you had another question following, please let me know.
That's great, Diane. That's exactly right. And Sean, thank you for the question, because it gets to my original point in getting this presentation out in front of you all as soon as possible. Every franchisor should have this presentation. Every franchisor that needs this loan should use it for their own purposes, and I think they should pass this on through their own networks to all of their franchisees who are in fact their own businesses themselves, and they should have access to it as well. That's really the point in all of this, is to get it out in front of as many people as absolutely possible, as quickly as possible, so that we can use the time that we have to access these monies so long as they exist.
Okay. Someone wanted to know if there was a fixed start date for the disaster when calculating the previous 12 months.
No, it's based on your prior 12 months. So if you apply as of April 1, it would be the prior 12 months from April or from March 31 prior.
Okay. A couple of people have chimed in regarding the CARES Act and wanting to know, one thing, if that's the same as the Main Street funding plan, for one, and then another part regarding that, can a person apply for the CARES loan if they apply for this loan?
Yes, I'll answer the second one first. Your answer is yes, you can apply for both, and I would encourage you to do that. If you do own a business and you've got non-owner employees or owner employees for that matter, I think the CARES Act that is going through the House of Representatives this morning, once it passes and becomes law, and we've got actionable legislation to work from, say next Monday, I think that's wise. That's a forgivable loan. It seems wise to me that to bridge this gap with a forgivable loan makes a lot of sense for business owners.
Okay. Another question. All set there. Another individual wanted to indicate. They said if someone has a C corporation set up, but has yet to open the business, and it's now delayed because of the coronavirus. Would this qualify as projected income will be delayed? Not quite sure.
I think you've got the same issue there in that, since you're less than 1 year, you fall into that same bucket of additional scrutiny. I don't see that that's not a reason not to apply, but it's a needs-based loan. You have to prove the need for the loan. Does that make sense?
Yeah, a lot of questions on the CARES Act. And someone wanted to have a better clarification. They said, what exactly does forgiven mean for the forgivable loan for the CARES Act?
Yeah. Here's how it's supposed to come out of the House of Representatives today. It's supposed to come out as an 8-week or 2-month forgivable loan. So you would walk into your local bank, this is not going to be administered through the SBA. It's going to be administered through a participating local bank. Okay, so you would walk into your local bank, you would apply for this CARES Act funding. Okay, a small business loan that is part of the CARES Act, which we don't yet have. We'll have it, I think, Monday. But you would walk in with your payroll reports proving that you've got payroll in your company. And I don't know what they're going to request, Sean, whether it's 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, I don't know. But they're going to request prior payroll reports to justify the amount of money that you need to bridge the next 2 months. Then they'll approve you for that amount for the next 2 months. And if at the end of that next 2 months you walk into the bank with your payroll reports showing that you still have those people on your payroll, that loan amount would be forgiven. Okay, that's the way it's walking its way through the House of Representatives today. If it's if it is voted on and if it does pass with those same provisions, that's the legislation we'll have to work with on Monday.
Okay. One person asked about the interest rate. This particular loan is at 3.75%. And in comparison, a brand new SBA loan for a brand new business is currently at 6%. Someone also asked, indicating that a husband and wife own everything together except for the business. A personal financial statement, when you're going to be completing that, does have to be combined from husband and wife for any married couple. Even if only one person owns the business, the banks will require that. Let me go through some of these other questions. Went through the interest rate. Boy, we got quite a few questions. Right now, someone indicated the SBA site does not have a login anymore. Did they change the site? They indicated they registered.
Yeah, it did change. We've been doing this presentation all across the industry. Thousands of people that we presented this to all week long. And what we started with in terms of a presentation on Monday is not the same presentation I just walked you through here a few minutes ago. They changed their site because everybody was crashing their server. There was so many people applying. They went to a downloadable, fillable forms format, like I just walked you through, to keep all of this information off their own servers. So, and I think that happened on Tuesday. So what we presented on Monday, we had to redo for Tuesday based on how they changed their site. But that's why they did it, because the servers were crashing.
All right. And on the particular link that, again, you're going to be able to get this presentation by going back to the FranServe site, accessing the presentation there. People asked if they could find the printable forms. So absolutely, when you go to the site and you click on the link, and it walks through the forms, you're absolutely able to then click on the form and print it out.
Yep, you absolutely can. If you print them out and you want to mail them in, the address is right there. It's a Fort Worth address, probably just not too far from the office here, that you would mail them to Fort Worth if you wanted to do that. I really think that if you want to expedite your request, you want to probably, even if you do print them out, you want to scan them back in and then and save them on your computer, and then just drag and drop them into the SBA website. I think that's going to hasten the process quite a bit, as opposed to mailing them in to Fort Worth.
All right. Another question regarding, would someone applying for this loan affect their ability to procure funds through the CARES Act?
No. They're separate loans altogether. And honestly, I don't really think in this political environment, in this healthcare crisis that we're going through, that anybody is going to argue, that one. I think that there's plenty of need out there in the economy for these kinds of loans, whether it's the economic injury disaster loan that we just went through, or the CARES Act that we hope comes through in its current format through the House of Representatives today. I would definitely myself, I would apply for both, and it doesn't harm you one way or the other to do so.
Okay, terrific. Someone pointed out that they had already completed the paperwork. They personally were not able to drag and drop, so they did print out all their forms. They faxed the forms into the SBA directly, and they wanted to know if they were supposed to receive a confirmation. And what we would suggest is calling the SBA phone number to specifically ask them if they have record of your documentation, and make sure from there. So that would be the suggestion.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of persistence on your part as a borrower here working with, a big bureaucracy in Washington, D.C. So you're going to have to be somewhat persistent and organized. So make sure that the documents that you complete, you save copies of for yourself to reference when you do, in fact, call in.
Right. And people wanted to know what phone number or area code might be calling them. We would not know, but you certainly could call the SBA if you wanted to get verification of what number they might be calling you, whether it's a toll-free number or not.
If it's not a toll-free number, the area code in Washington, D.C. is area code 212. Okay, so you might see a 212 number come in. It might be it might be an 800 number. We don't know. But like I said, that's why I mentioned on your iPhone to take that, shut that feature off that silences and forwards unknown calls directly to voicemail. Just in the interim here, while you're awaiting this phone call.
Okay. The amounts of these loans are not a set amount. They are going to fluctuate, and it's going to be probably depending on the business size as well as the needs. A person had specifically said, what determines the actual loan amount?
Yeah, it's a needs-based loan. So you request based on what you believe you need, and then I think it becomes somewhat of a negotiation. And I'm sure there are parameters that the SBA has that they certainly aren't going to tell us for what quantifies a particular need. So I would request the maximum amount that I need and work back from there.
Perfect. Someone else mentioned that they're in the process of building a store. They've run into financial trouble. Can they apply for the loan if they've not yet hired any employees and not started the business?
I think that's a very good case, situation in which we were all caught off guard. The red carpet was ripped out from underneath our feet here, 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think that is a very good case for a disaster that they didn't see coming. So yes, absolutely.
A franchisor reached out asking that if their franchisees have not completed their 2019 personal or corporate federal returns, and should submit a year-end P&L and balance sheet, just kind of get clarifications for someone that's not yet filed the taxes. That's a current.
Right. Yeah, you would submit your 2018s if you've got those. If not, you want to make sure that you've got your interim financials. So everything for 2019, if it's not yet a tax return, I would bet they're going to ask you for those as well.
Someone wanted to know any comments on Form 1386 for an LLC.
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, you might want to Google that, or maybe ask your CPA, just to be sure.
So that was 1368. Form 1368. You said 1386. Just wanted to clarify.
Oh, Derek, do you know about the 1368 LLC form?
No, I'm not.
No.
I'm not.
Okay. Yeah, different number, but same answer. Sorry. Um, Someone indicated that they filled out the form on the 18th. They completed it electronically. It said, but let's say they said showing the forms. They did not see if it was required. Did the online requirements change over the past 8 to 10 days?
Well, the format changed. I mean, you've got to do the fillable forms now, where prior to, I believe it was Tuesday when the site crashed, they were doing all of this internally. So all of this information, you were filling out these forms on their servers. So the system changed, the process changed, which we detailed here.
Okay. Do we know on Form 2202, should they include their monthly lease or rent payments?
Absolutely. Yep, all liabilities.
All right. Another question from a consultant. Are candidates who are currently in the process of moving forward with investing in a franchise eligible for the 3.75 at 30 years? The answer is no. A new individual trying to get a new SBA loan goes by the regular requirements and regular parameters. That loan is at 6%, which is historically very low, and the SBA regular loans are only 10-year loans. This is only regarding emergency funding for businesses that are already in existence. Let's see. Someone mentioned that they understand there's a $10,000 forgivable grant, which you get within 3 days when you apply for this particular loan. How do they access that?
That's a great question for the SBA when you submit your application.
Perfect. Okay, let's see. People are saying thanks for the answers. All right. Does the 2002 have to be filled out for each owner of the LLC?
It has to be filled out for anybody who's a 20% owner or greater. So if it's husband and wife, both husband and wife would fill it out.
All right. Another FranServe consultant wanted to know if they themselves can fill it out as a franchise consultant. Can they apply for the loan?
Jointly?
No. A particular consultant wants to know if he can apply.
I guess that depends, Diane, on how they file their taxes. If they file their individual taxes jointly, then I'm sure they're only going to be able to file for one loan. If they want to file separately, or if they file their individual taxes separately, married filing separately, then they might be able to apply for two separate loans if they're running two separate practices.
Okay, all right. A franchisor wanted to know if they can actually get this presentation so that they can send it to all their franchisees. So when you get that link through FranServe, you could see what information you can then literally disseminate to them.
Michelle, I would encourage you to share this with all of your franchisor inventory. I think there's so much goodwill that can come from this, and so much help that can be garnered to a lot of people, not just your franchisors themselves, but beneath them and in their network of franchisees. There's a lot of need out there. So yeah, I absolutely think that to the extent we can cascade this through the industry, it's going to help a lot of people.
Okay.
We will definitely.
Okay. And a couple more people had questions that chimed in about the specific amounts of the loan, which we had alluded to. You try to project the amount you feel you'd need, and then it would be decided through the SBA what is going to, potentially be approved. So that wouldn't be something that we'd be able to really chime in on, but certainly every case is unique and different. Some of the things that I've read, it's just really on a person-by-person basis. Another individual referenced that they've got two corporations, the parent corporation and the franchise corporation. Should we submit individual applications for each one?
To the extent there's a need in each entity, the answer is yes.
Another individual said, can you talk on how that works for sole proprietors that don't have any employees but file a Schedule C?
Sure. You've got, you've got a business, whether you're a sole proprietor or an entity, a legal entity, an LLC, C corporation, whatever. You're going to walk through those two documents. I believe it was 5C and those other two. I can't remember off the top of my head. Those three documents comprise your package, and whether you're a sole proprietor or not, you're going to have to submit those three documents if you are a sole proprietor, so that's where your needs are generated. You're going to have to demonstrate what this crisis has done to your business. So what did it do prior, and what did it do from, say, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago forward? And so as your business has dropped off, that creates the need and justifies the loan amount.
Okay. And so for clarification, the dollars that are affiliated and eligible, it is determined that it's to pay fixed debts, payroll, accounts payable, and other bills that cannot be paid because of the disaster's impact.
That's right.
Someone wanted to know if this is valid, that the government's going to make the principal and interest payments for 6 months. The answer is yes. If an individual gets the SBA loan, when that loan closes, the government is going to make principal and interest payments for 6 months after the loan closes. That is true. So good question there.
Great question, and really, as this is recorded and shared and cascaded throughout the industry, if you're a franchisor and you didn't hear what Diane said and you've got questions, please do call her or Kelly. That's a very, very important piece. The legislation that's been written and is now even coming through, that's a big, big, big thing. So if you're new business owners, your new franchisees take a loan to capitalize their new business, 6 months of principal and interest paid up front is huge. So please do pay attention to that one. That's going to be, I think, the next big thing that comes out of all of this.
When individuals, Michelle, some of the franchisors wanted to know what site they'd have to go to on FranServe so that they could access this presentation. So
we will most likely have it right on the front page of your login when you log in. I'm sure we will send out an email notifying everybody once it is posted, though.
Okay, excellent.
Is that pretty much all the questions, Diane? We're running a little short of time, and we've got another one.
Yeah, there's, believe it or not, there's another 20 questions, but we really are, at quarter of the hour. So we definitely received some terrific questions, and certainly other specific questions. The phone number at the top of the presentation reference the direct SBA phone number. They certainly are going to be very versed in anything that you're going to be able to ask so that they can address your questions timely and accurately. And certainly those website links are going to provide the documentation and the forms for whether it's a sole proprietor or the LLC corporations.
Great. Well, we want to say thank you to everybody, and know that we're in this fight with you, and we care, and we're trying to generate as much goodwill throughout the industry by getting this information in front of you as quickly as possible, and we're here. Kelly and Diane's numbers are there on the screen, and a lot of you know that anyway, and email them if you've got some questions, and to the extent that we can, we will certainly help you as we try and bridge this gap that we find ourselves all in. So I want to say thank you on behalf of Tenet Financial Group for everything FranServe has meant to us over the years, and we look forward to just being a bigger part of what you guys have going on.
Terrific.
Derek and Diane, thank you so much. We really appreciate, everybody from FranServe really appreciates you guys stepping up and hosting this for our partners and our consultants. We all truly appreciate it. You could see by the attendance here. We will get this posted on our FranServe support site for both consultants and franchisors. and I'm sure we will drop an email to everyone and let them know exactly where to find this. So thank you guys both again. We really do appreciate it, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a great day, everybody. Bye now.
Bye.